Hello, and welcome back to another video of Ashraf Shoot the Ball. I'm trying to be a lot more active now, trying to make a lot more videos, a lot more content. It's just crazy, and there's no time. Um, but we're back again after a crazy Saturday of football. Um, Maybe not just in the Premier League, but across as well. Barcelona bottling a two-goal lead. That was mad. Um, but yeah, obviously there's like a big elephant in the room with I don't mean Souls, by the way. Souls is not a big elephant. Big, you know what? First, let me introduce him. Big up, Souls. How you doing, my man?
Good man. How are you?
All good, all good. How's everything?
Yeah, good man. Obviously, some good results yesterday. Um, Barcelona was very nice because obviously I'm a massive supporter of Real Madrid. So, um,
What?
seeing them drop points. That's 4 points dropped now in two games. Real Madrid with their two games in hand, they're a point off Barcelona. The league that was already wrapped up is now not wrapped up anymore. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
I don't know. I still think Barca end up winning this. To be
Yeah, no,
honest,
no,
like
that's fine. No, that's fine. But I mean, obviously, where it was a few weeks ago after the El Clasico, it was like, oh, Barca high flying. You really couldn't. I genuinely couldn't see how Barca could drop off. Like I was saying, oh, they'd have to drop points and lose a game, and on the way they were going, it seemed unlikely. But again, look, I think they're definitely not as strong as people think they are. They definitely have got mistakes in them. Their defense isn't too solid. Obviously, they need Lamar back ASAP, and yeah. So now it's Real Madrid's time to capitalize on those results.
yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. It seems like there's a lot of problems at Madrid with some of the games they've been like pulling stinkers in. Like it's crazy, but obviously they can still come back. It's just, I mean, as they win their two games, I think they're only a point behind, which is
Yeah.
it's nothing to be honest. But I don't know. I think there's a bigger chance Barcelona pull up like a bigger gap on the thing, and I'm pretty sure Yamal is not out for long. Like he should be back in a week or two, I think. And if he is, then yeah, I think that changes the whole perspective. But
Yeah,
anyways,
someone. Yeah. Go on.
no, go on, say.
No. Go. You go.
No, I was saying away from that, man. Yesterday, massive stuff. Obviously, you came on after the stream, but we didn't actually discuss the game much. So we'll analyze. We'll be discussing the Arsenal game. Obviously, the big elephant in the room that I was talking about earlier, which is stay humble with City getting absolutely decimated at home to Spurs. That too, which is mad, man. I still cannot like believe that. Genuinely, it is not a. If you ask me to pick the three most likely results, I promise you, there's nowhere I would have picked like a Spurs win. Nowhere. Let alone a
No,
decimation.
no, 100%. I think obviously I'm not a betting man, but I don't think any company in the world could have predicted that result yesterday. Um, Look, to be honest, the before we get into Arsenal, obviously that Tottenham game for me still doesn't feel real in my head in terms of what I was watching because, like, first 10 minutes, Man City played really well. To be honest, it looked like it was going to be a dismantling from Man City's side. Tottenham just looked out of it. They weren't defending very well. City like had two or three chances at the start. Good save from Vicario from that the shot from Haaland in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was thinking this is going to be a long day for Tottenham. Even some of my Tottenham friends were like, "This is going to be a battering." And then, honestly, against the run of play, they got the goal from they got the Madison goal from a absolutely disgusting ball from Kulusevski, um, put it on a plate, which to be fair, he shouldn't even have been playing on the right. He usually plays in the 10 with Madison in midfield and Brendan Johnson on the right. So it,
I mean,
it,
he
it was
started off as
quite.
a right winger for them, no?
No, he did. But I think but then
Yeah.
obviously he wasn't playing well there at all. And then I think their best team is when Brendan's on the right, Son's on the left. Obviously, Solanke, they put Madders in the six, and then they put Kulusevski in the 10. But obviously, Ange wanted to play a different way today, which is again very good because he kind of changed the way he played for this game, and obviously it ended up working. But it was just a horrifying. Like City just look out of it. Like Kyle Walker just looks absolutely. cleaned out. I don't know what's happened to him.
Bro, that fourth goal. You know how he always like backs himself in a pace in a race, right? And he even said it, I think, in one of the podcasts where he came in. He's like, I always back myself against anyone, and most people give up. A lot of people don't try, and I don't understand why. By the way, they don't try um, to do what Timo Werner did yesterday, right? Because
No, but so look, in defense of that, because I know what you're gonna say. In defense of that, I said this as well. Number one, Kyle Walker's been running all game. Okay, it's the last 20 in the
yeah,
game,
but
so he's been and also Timo Werner's one of the fastest players in the Premier League.
But
So it's
that's my
like
point. That's my point, Souls. I understand that, but I'm saying even if you look at the last couple of years, there are many players who have that blinding pace, but he just for whatever reason gets scared to use it against him. And he himself said this in the podcast. He himself said this when he was, the Adama Traore thing when he caught up to him and he just cleaned him and obviously went through on goal. He said Kyle Walker himself said that a lot of times when I come up against people and they see me start running, they themselves give up. They just mentally give up and they stop running, which makes it easier for me, right? And he doesn't. Adama Traore backed himself so much. He's like, no, you know what? I've got this. I've seen some players like Mbappe, like Timo Werner, try this with Kyle Walker, right? Where when they have that gap, because Kyle Walker sometimes gets a bit too cocky and arrogant with his pace, where he intentionally wants them to put the ball
why
forward and
for that?
start sprinting,
Yeah.
right? He wants them to start sprinting because he's like, I got you. If you do that, I'm gonna get you, right? The problem is that there are some sprinters who actually can get the best out of him, and I've seen them try it and they've done it. Remember the World Cup when Mbappe went up against him? They were running together from the middle, and in the end, they just went on a sprint race, and Mbappe cleaned him. And then he squared the ball, and obviously Giroud missed the chance, and then Dembele as well
Yeah,
missed the sitter.
yeah.
Dembele did the same thing to Kyle Walker a couple of years ago. This is peak speed Kyle Walker when he just turned him and went by pace and went past him like brushed off like crazy. I don't know why people, and especially now with his age, because there's no way you're telling me his pace is exactly the same. He must have
No,
lost
no, no.
like a
It's
little
not.
bit
No,
of
no.
pace.
Look. He's not. Look. It's not the exact same. I think where I see obviously he's still one of the fastest players in the world. Obviously, because at his peak, obviously he was obviously rapid. He's lost a
Yeah.
little bit of pace, but obviously, um, look, I think it depends on your style. See, Son today, if you saw the first half, Son was very smart. When Son was going up against Kyle Walker, he didn't ever take him on the left and try and run past him because he knew he just couldn't do that. Because Son is
Yeah, yeah, of
not
course.
notoriously
Yeah.
known to have pace. So Son was very
Yeah.
intelligent in terms of always took Kyle onto the right, did his traditional cut in, and obviously either tried to play it through the middle or put a cross in.
Hmm.
But I think in terms of Kyle Walker, I'm not even talking about the pace. Obviously, that moment there with Werner, it made sense to me, right? Because obviously, look, Kyle Walker's 30 plus. He can't run for 90 minutes straight, especially coming up against probably one of the fastest players in the Premier League. Well, Werner's main attribute is his pace. But overall, he's defending anyway. His positioning's everywhere. He's reckless now. He's gassing out too early. Like if City want, if City now need to go on and win the Premier League, say next season, year after, they have to think about replacing some of these players now, like the ones that are
Yeah.
getting old, like the Kyle Walkers. But overall, even then, it doesn't excuse what happened yesterday. Because Tottenham again, they're all about Van de Ven, they're all about Romero, they're Ben Davies was playing in centre back, who's if you ask any Tottenham
Unbelievable.
player, we would say one of the worst players that's ever played for them. Tottenham fans can't stand him. But Dragusin, they both had quality games, and obviously give Tottenham credit. They played really well. Obviously, I'm not going to put it all down to City's kind of playing way of playing bad. Like Tottenham played
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
well. I think Tottenham on the count. If you try and go toe to toe for Tottenham, they're probably one of the best counter attacking teams in the league. Like the way they counter is so good. I've seen it against all the top teams. They're really good at doing it. Like if you go like because obviously City tried to play the man on man. Usually City should win that battle. But when it comes to counter attacking, teams like Spurs and they do it so well. They just know how to break out the press. I saw it yesterday. Literally two, three passes, break out the press. Sonner's gone. Kulusevski's on the other side. They just know what they're doing. They're so kind of systemed out for that counter that they're lethal when they actually get that counter attack. And honestly, it was a surreal game. It's looking peak for City now, man.
Do you think there's a chance for them from here to come back and win the league?
Yes, yeah, I would say for City, yes, but again, I think now it's all gonna come down to Liverpool dropping off rather than us doing well. Obviously, we have to City have to keep winning, and we just have to kind of hope that again. Look, it's a long season, right? We don't know who's going to stay fit. Trent's injured now. We don't know how long their other players are going to stay fit for. So we can't really predict anything at the moment. But it's Liverpool's title to lose now, especially if they win today and
Yeah,
they're what 8 points clear at the top.
they
It's
are
going to be
8 points
six.
clear.
Yeah, it's going to be Liverpool's league to lose now if they do lose it.
Yeah. Look, I think 8 points can be clawed back. It's just that if Liverpool win today and beat City next week, yeah, I think it's over for City. I don't see City coming back from an 11 points gap. I just think it's too big. I don't think Liverpool will let that kind of gap go. I do think they'll drop points for sure. I don't think this is going to be the 2019 2020 Liverpool when they went on, like, I think they won like 20 games and one draw or something like that in the first 20 cup something games. Um, I don't think it'll be like that, but I do think 11 points is too difficult, even for a team like City to claw it back, right? They're going to need a lot of fortune to go their way. For me, I don't know, man. I was on a channel where I said when Rodri first got injured, the news came out that he's going to be out for the season. And I was asked, like, do you think this will impact City that much where they drop down, like where they're not favorites anymore? And I was like, no, because in my opinion, Pep Guardiola is the greatest manager of all time. I think he's number one for me.
Yeah.
And the biggest threat about City, obviously, yes, there's Haaland, there's Rodri, there's KDB. I get it, but for me, the bigger threat is Pep. Right, he's the main guy. Like, and as long as he's there, players will come and go. But I think that City system will still stay the same. So for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
right, when I was asked that question, I said, hey, no, as long as Pep is there, he'll figure it out. He'll figure out Rodri's absence, right? Like we could see it in the first 5 games when they didn't start Rodri and they were winning all games. Kovacic was pulling up incredible performances and they were getting wins, and obviously Haaland was killing it as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to say, I have to admit now, I couldn't have been more wrong. It's crazy. He hasn't figured it out. The fact that they have gone 5 games in a row now losing, and maybe you can discount the Spurs game at the League Cup because you know what? They didn't start their full team. Pep said he's not going to care about it. The players were sitting on the bench laughing.
Yeah.
So fair enough.
Yeah.
Let's forget that game. But if you just look at it from a Premier League perspective, you have lost 3 games on the bounce. And you didn't lose 3 games where, you were the best team, you dominated, but you were just unlucky. You
Mm.
got dominated in all these 3 games. Bournemouth could have been 4 or 5 goals up when they were 1-0 up, right? Um,
Yeah.
Brighton, yes, first half City were killing it. Good goal by Holland. They were the better team. But second half, Brighton came and played them out of the park. They played
Yeah.
them out of the park. And if you look at yesterday's game, bruh, honestly, I wouldn't go. I don't think it's crazy to say City Spurs probably could have had more. Right, that goal that was scored in the end when Timo Werner just hit the freaking accelerator on Kyle Walker. I think they could have done that a couple of times in the game. So it's
Mm.
really peak settings for City right now. I personally think if they lose next week to to Liverpool, I think it's over. I don't think they come back from that. I think it's too much. Um, and maybe, and I'm gonna end on this with City. I have a feeling this is probably this like maybe it might not be the main reason, but I think it probably played a big part in Pep Guardiola renewing his contract for 2 more seasons. I think he really didn't decide at the start of the season. I don't think he got into the season having decided, yeah, I'm 100% going to renew. I think he was generally like on defense. And when he saw the season is going really bad, he's like, there's no way I'm going to end my career at City this way, right? So if it's going that bad and it's a chance we don't win the league, I'm going to make sure we freaking retain
Mm.
it next season. And that's when he'll end up leaving. Because I definitely don't think Pep's the kind of guy who wants to leave on a freaking low.
No, no, no. Obviously, I agree. Can you hear me well?
I can, yeah.
Yeah. Is there still an echo?
No, no, no. It's good. It's good now.
Oh, okay. Um, I was saying, obviously, Pep's 1 year extension doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, it does make sense to me from a financial standpoint. Obviously, you need to understand, like, he's not going to get paid anywhere close, even if he goes to any team in the Spanish league or anything like that. Like, obviously, the Premier League's where the money is. He plays for probably
Unless
the
he goes to
richest league in
Saudi.
the. Yes, he goes to Saudi, obviously, but I think he's
Yeah.
thinking as of now, he needs to retain as much of his sort of financial kind of commitments as possible. Also,
Yeah.
he's probably thinking, okay, like I agree with you, his ego's there. He doesn't want to leave on a low. So yeah, look, I think don't get too overflown with it in terms of Man City. They will definitely be back. Obviously, KDB is now gonna obviously he seemed quite fit today when he came on. I expect him to start over the next couple of games. So look, I wouldn't put it past City to come back strong. Are they going to finish top three 100%? Do I think they can win the league? As of now, as I said, I would say no, only because it's Liverpool's league to lose now, especially how big the gap is. The only frustrating thing with me, and even when I was watching the game yesterday, it was so depressing because in my mind, I was just thinking, why couldn't City have been this bad when we were like front running, no injuries,
Yeah,
our main 11 going every week, winning every game? Why couldn't we have this sort of situation where City would lose 4 or 5 games on a trot? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Do you know what I mean? It's like when we had to bust our gut, literally couldn't afford one injury, had to go toe to toe with every team, and City were just winning game on game on game. You know what I mean? Haaland was doing craziness. Now, when Liverpool are now, do you know what I mean? City have lost 4 games on the trot for the first time in Pep's managerial career for Man City. It's like, come on, man. It's frustrating.
it's
But what
crazy.
can you do?
Last thing before we end this segment, in case any Spurs fans watch and get all riled up that we're not giving their team praise, do you think this
I
win
don't
for
care
Spurs?
about Spurs. I don't care
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Spurs.
yeah. Me
I
neither.
don't
Me
like
neither. But
Spurs.
do you think this win will actually like push them now to go on a good
No.
run and
No,
maybe get
no,
top
no, no,
four?
no, no, no. See, I was saying this to my friend yesterday. Even my friend said this to me yesterday, actually. He was saying, like, don't get it twisted by yesterday's results. Spurs are still shit. Like I don't understand. I don't think you
Yeah,
understand how shit Spurs are.
I agree.
Like Spurs. I've never seen a team that literally is the definition of a banter of like a banter team. They can win the hardest game ever and then lose the next week. Like
At
every
home to
single
Ipswich.
month. Yeah, they literally win one, lose one, win one. They're going through and trust me, they've won today against sorry yesterday against Man City. I won't be surprised if they drop points to Fulham next week. I genuinely think they'll
Yeah,
probably lose to them next week.
me neither.
And it's like they this is the Spurs kind of way now. It's just like they'll lose to Brighton, then they'll beat a team. Then they'll lose to a Palace, then they'll beat a team. Then they'll lose to Ipswich, then they'll beat a team. They've literally lost to Brighton, Ipswich, and Palace, and beat Man City. Um, and I can't remember who else they beat, but they literally lose the easy games and win the hard games. Obviously,
And look,
for Spurs.
no offense to Spurs, but genuinely, as good as this win was for them yesterday, I feel it has more to do with City not being up to the mark than it has something to do with
No, 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 Spurs. No, no, Spurs. No,
with.
no, Spurs. No, Spurs played well yesterday. I have to give it to them.
Yeah,
Even
yeah, they played well. They
yeah,
played well, but
they played well.
I'm saying they play 100%. They played well, and they deserve credit for that. But I'm saying it's more, even if they played well yesterday, but City were at their best level, they don't win that game.
No, they
You
don't
get what
win
I
that, but
mean?
I mean, like, but I
Yeah.
mean, like, it wasn't like City, like, that, like, made mistakes and all the goals were like lucky. They created quality goals. Like, all of their goals were quality.
Yeah,
They
but I
were, they
feel like
were.
they created quality goals because City just were too exposed defensively, and
No, no,
part
no,
of
but
that
that's
is
fine. No, 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 but that's fine. But you can't. I feel like you have to give Spurs credit there as well because, like, you need to also play well to be able to get that
funny because
opportunity
this guy
in the first
started the
place.
whole segment saying, "I don't give a shit about Spurs. I'm not giving them credit," and
No,
now
no,
he
no, no, no,
is.
no, 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 no. I don't. No, 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 no.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
Only
I get what
because
you mean.
those goals yesterday when I was watching them, I was like, bro, like that second goal with the Madison and Son link up. I think that was an incredible goal. Like
But that's
that
exactly what I
felt.
mean, those goals, because
Mm.
Peak City from last season and the season before, right? They don't let that link up happen in their box. Their defenders are too good. They win the ball back, right? That link up, I've seen teams try it. I've seen Spurs try it a couple of seasons ago, last season as well.
Yeah.
City's defenders, when they were obviously on form, like Stones and Diaz and Akanji and all these guys, they don't let that link up happen in their damn box, right? And this is why I'm
Mm.
saying, as good as Spurs, because I've seen Spurs do it to other teams. I've seen Spurs do it to the mid-table teams where they play that link up and they score beautiful goals. But
Mm.
this season, by the way, as well, I think Basuma scored in the beginning of the season where they had some beautiful 1-2 play, right? But when it comes to City, City don't let these things happen because their defenders read the pass really well. And the fact that it didn't happen yesterday, I don't know, like you can tell the players are depleted. And Kyle Walker came out and spoke about it after the game. He said, right now, we've lost confidence. We've just lost confidence in ourselves. And for someone to say that he's the captain as well, for a captain to say that of a 4P team and a team that won the treble 2 seasons ago is mad. It's mad. How could you come out saying we've lost confidence? It's crazy, bro. Like you are the well, I don't think they're the best team in the world, but in many people's books, they are the best team in the world. For you to come and
Mm.
say we've lost confidence is just mental for me, man. I don't know. It's a mountain of a problem for Pep to fix. But I mean, if any manager can fix it, obviously it is Pep. But I still stand with what I said. If they lose next week to Liverpool, I think it's done. I think it's over.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think yeah, agreed.
But moving on to our game, the Arsenal game. Obviously we ended up smashing Forest 3-0. Goals from Bukayo Saka, beautiful goal by Bukayo Saka, an even better goal by Thomas Partey, and a Premier League debut goal for Ethan Waneri. He finally gets his Premier League debut goal. Um, Souls. A lot of people thought this was going to be a very tricky game. A lot of people, I came on shows like with people where they said that if you lose the game to Forest, it's over for you. And
Mm.
which makes sense, right? Obviously, because if you lose to Forest, then obviously Liverpool win, that's 12 points. Then 100% the league is done for us. Um,
Yeah.
the game, not only did we win, we
Mm.
absolutely slapped them up. I was doing a watch along, obviously, where I was criticizing some portions of the game, and I
Yeah.
said, why are we like sitting back too much sometimes? Because when we sit back sometimes and we let crosses come in, we've seen it against Leicester, right? When we didn't really sit back. But the first cross Leicester City had, it was a deflected goal, and they came back, and that gave them energy, and then they went on to score a screamer like a few minutes later. Um,
Yeah.
so I wasn't a fan of that. But outside that, we absolutely dismantled Nottingham Forest, a team that, make no mistake, is not, forget the name Forest, but by this season's form, they have been really good. The second or third best defense in the league before our game,
Mm.
obviously.
Yeah.
The only team to beat Liverpool this season as well. They also went to Stamford Bridge and got a point over there, and we just
Yeah.
slapped them up, and that showed our quality. What did you make of the game?
Yeah, no, look, I think I said it yesterday. I think they were I think we were unbelievable. I think I said, obviously, not to repeat myself, but obviously bringing back Odegaard, you can just see the impact he's having on the team in terms of how we're creating opportunities from the middle. Everything's going through him. We're creating a lot more in terms of diversity, way of attacking. There's different ways and funnels that we're able to kind of push the ball through now. It's not just forcing it to the wingers and obviously putting on, obviously, have a high top. We're seeing different ways of playing, which is amazing.
Mm.
I think we have to give the team a lot of credit and give Arteta a lot of credit, because obviously the team before the game was, to me, I was like, oh my god, what's going on here? No Rice, no Partey, no Havertz, um, and I was like, oh my god, this is going to be a disaster. But I think he kind of wanted to see how the link up would work with Jesus, Saka, kind of Odegaard, and sort of how that would work. And I think, look, it worked really, really well. I think everyone had an amazing game. Saka again, unbelievable. That goal was a world class strike to
Yeah.
to do the 1-2 cut through three players and then just strike it like that. With the back against the ball, I think was amazing. And yeah, look, I think it was an amazing game. Forest again, they're a top team, and we made them look like they weren't even there. It was like a training game for us. Do you know what I mean? Didn't really give us much of a challenge. We were very good, and yeah, I think overall that was probably our best performance of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely up there. For me, I would still probably say the Leicester City game, just because I know people will obviously say, yeah, but you conceded 2 goals that game. But for me, outside that game, the way we like had like 75% possession and pinned Leicester back. But anyways, it's definitely up there. I mean, it was such a good game. The link up between Odegaard and Saka was incredible. I said this to you last season. I said it, sorry, yesterday, and I said it in the stream as well, that um when Odegaard and Saka start, for me, it doesn't matter who the other two are, because the way Saka and Odegaard play and the way they carry the ball and the way they initiate attacks and they speed up the pace of the game, the other two by default to end up also like getting involved in these kind of things, right? So um, when you look at like the way like they were linking up with Jesus, the way they were linking up with Trossard, I feel like it just shows these two are they're our most important attackers, 100%. There's no question about it. I think you can argue for most important players, because you can obviously have Saliba, Gabriel, Rice, and all these guys there, and Raya too. But when it comes to the attack, there's no question that we need these two guys. And if these two guys are fit all season, for me, honestly, it won't matter as much who the other guys are that are playing with them. I mean, it does matter. I do want Havertz and Martinelli to start if both are in form, obviously. But um, I think even with players like Jesus and Trossard in there, we still can end up getting results. The one thing I will say, and I hate putting something negative out there, but I have to, is that I've come on like Sard's stream and I've come on other streams where I've not backed Jesus, but I've said I want to see him until the end of the season, right? Because I feel like the Jesus we got 2 seasons ago was incredible. I'm happy with that Jesus. I think that Jesus was fantastic for us. And obviously last season he was incredibly underwhelming, but a lot of people attributed that to, oh yeah, well, he's got a knee issue and he's been playing with pain, and now that he's done a knee surgery, he's going to be a lot better. And we saw it in preseason. In preseason, he was actually playing quite well. Which is why I said I want to see him this season and make a judgment. If he gets back to the form of 2 seasons ago, then I'm more than happy to continue keeping him. But if he doesn't, then he needs to go. And what I saw from Jesus so far this season, especially yesterday that he started up front, man,
Mm.
I just feel like it's time to move on from him. Like, he's clearly lost a yard of pace. There was a dribble that he tried to do yesterday at the side, at the flank, where he feints and he just cuts into the other side and goes. And 2 seasons ago, that would work 100 times, like 100 out of 100 times.
Mm.
Like, he was that good at it. And this
Mm.
season, like, he's become so slow. I think it was Morello who went up against him and just got the ball easy, brushed him off. He doesn't dribble as much. He lost that explosiveness, clearly because of the knee surgery, or maybe he's just afraid to like pop his knee again. Um, he's the one player who I looked at yesterday and said, man, if we had Havertz playing, and I don't even rate Havertz, I don't even like Havertz at all as a striker, but if we had Havertz playing as a striker yesterday instead of Jesus, I think we probably decimate Forest even more. And it's just so sad that
Yeah, no, yeah,
he's
no,
become
no.
that
Look,
bad.
obviously, look, I would disagree with that. Only because, look, I would agree with you in the overall point that I think Jesus isn't good enough to kind of be a starter for us. Look, as a backup kind of striker, you could maybe have him there. It's okay. Do you know what I mean? But I
Mm.
think he does a job I think that Havertz maybe does a bit differently, and I think the only difference between them is Jesus is a better link up is a better link up player, can drift in different positions, allow people to move into spaces, and in my opinion does a different job to Havertz. Havertz is obviously good at
But no, but
holding the
I'm sorry,
ball
Souls.
because
I have to challenge you there, because
mm,
you're saying keep him as a sub player. I'm assuming
mm,
you also want us to sign a striker, right? I think you're also in that in
correct.
that.
Yeah.
Correct. So if you want us to sign a striker, we know we cannot
Mm.
have three. One of them has to go. Who would you let go of?
What do you mean we can't
Between
have three? Like as in.
we cannot keep three striker. We cannot keep the new striker and Havertz and Jesus. One of them has to go, right? So who
Yeah,
would you
yeah,
let
yeah.
go of,
No, no.
Jesus or Havertz?
Yeah. In that case, I wouldn't have a problem with Jesus going.
Yeah, yeah, okay, that's what I'm
In that
referring to.
case,
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm referring to. Yeah.
but I mean, where I'll disagree with you is that like, oh, if Havertz would have played yesterday, I think it would have been a different game if Havertz played yesterday, only because they do different things, and obviously, as I said, hey, I think Arteta started Jesus for a reason. I think because he knows that Jesus does link up better, and he kind of wanted to experiment, and it worked, to be honest, in terms of allowing that space in the middle for people to kind of drift in, allowing Odegaard more that free roam, and kind of using Jesus as more of a winger as well. Havertz, as I said, he's very good. He's got a strong presence in the middle. Will win the ball, hold the ball up. It does differ the game. So obviously, if Havertz would have started, I think we would have had to play a different game with a different system. But overall, look, Jesus did a job. If we sign a striker, I have no issues with Jesus going. But that means we have to sign a striker. But
Yeah, I
obviously,
agree. I agree.
yeah.
I, I don't know. I've just seen some of the link ups that Havertz has done. I think Jesus of 2 seasons ago was a better link up player than Havertz. Jesus of this season, in my opinion, is actually the same, if not worse, than Havertz. And I wanted to bring this up actually because I was watching Footy Judge Mo's channel, um,
Mm,
and they were doing a show last night where they were discussing Saka, right? And one guy, Spurs fan, mentioned that this season, um, Saka has been missing in front of goal in terms of scoring goals
mm,
compared to last season.
mm,
And one of the main attributes is because, with Jesus, like, Saka gets
mm.
more shots, like he gets more attempts to score, he gets into the box a lot more, versus with Havertz, that's not the case. And that is
Right.
obviously, that's no, but that's absolute bullshit, because
Sorry. Can you repeat that?
basically they were praising the fact that when Jesus starts, Saka gets more opportunities to score. He gets more opportunities to get into the box and take shots and stuff like that. Versus when Havertz plays, he doesn't get that opportunity as much, right? And the reason why that's
Mm.
factually incorrect is because if you look at the first 12 games of last season versus the first 12 games of this
Yeah.
season, Saka has had more total shots. I think 31 compared to 20 from last season. And he's had more
Right.
shots on target, right? And in fact, this season alone, he's had more shots, more total attempts, and more shots on target in two other games compared to Nottingham Forest, where Jesus started, which is Leicester City and I think Southampton, right? So
Mm-hmm.
people, I think, go into this crazy tangent, and I'm only bringing it up because you also mentioned like Jesus is a better link-up player. But the reality is, when you look at someone like Saka, his link up has been a lot better when Havertz has been there. He's also got more shots better when he plays with Havertz. He's
Well,
been
no,
able to like
Saka plays better when Odegaard's there. That's the kind of main point of conversation
no, but
because
forget Odegaard. Let's say
yeah.
Odegaard is there, but then the third player is either Havertz or Jesus. I feel Havertz gets better out of Saka than because Saka
Yeah, yeah.
always is a, because Saka is always a goal threat whether Jesus plays or whether Havertz plays, right? The stats show it, everything shows it. People will be like, oh, he's only got 4 goals this season. Yeah, but look at the fixtures, right? If you compare the teams we've played this season, Saka didn't score away against Villa last season, just like this season. He didn't score away against Newcastle last season. He didn't score away against Chelsea last season. He didn't score away against City last season, which is the same fixtures we've had this season, right? So we have to like wait till the
Mm.
season goes. But when you look at the creativity, though, Saka's creativity is a lot much as a much is much much better when Havertz plays because he actually has someone to create for. Otherwise, if Havertz doesn't play and Jesus is the one starting, Saka has to only score. He has no other option because he has no one else to
Mm.
create for, and that's where I feel like that argument was incredibly stupid. I think Havertz, as much as I don't rate him, is definitely like a better forward for us when it comes to. And that's
Yeah,
why I'm
yeah,
saying if he
yeah,
started
yeah. No, no,
yesterday, we
no.
would have
Yeah, yeah.
probably
Look,
smashed up
yeah.
Forest
Look,
even
to be
more.
honest, saying you don't rate Havertz is mind games, so I'm gonna ignore that point. But
Wallahi, it's not mind
in
games. As a striker,
no,
I
no,
don't.
no,
Wallahi, I don't.
no. That's fine. That's mind games though. That's mind
How is
games.
that mind games?
No,
How's that mind games?
no, it's mind game. It's mind game because Havertz you can't just say you don't rate Havertz. Like that's just not a comment that you can make
Yeah, okay,
without.
okay. Let me okay, fine. Let me rephrase because I think you misunderstood. I don't
Yeah, go
rate
on. Sorry. Yeah.
Havertz. I don't rate Havertz as a starting striker for Arsenal when we're trying to challenge for the league over the course of the season. If he's a squad player, oh, I think he's fantastic as a squad player because he can
Mm.
come off the mid, he can play on as a striker, he can play behind the striker. He gives us different options. He gives us variety, which I like. He also gives us versatility. And to bring someone like him off the bench, to start him in some games as well when we want to rotate
No,
the players,
see.
but as a
Look,
starting
saying no,
striker, no,
no,
no.
no,
Let me
no, no,
let me
no.
land on this. Let me
Saying
land on this, and you can pick on it.
no, no, no,
Let
no,
me
no,
land
no,
on
no,
this. You
no.
can
Hold on, no, 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 no.
for
Okay, go
let me.
on.
I just wait. Let me just give you my point. Let me just give you a point, and then you can tell me why I'm wrong
Okay,
if you think
okay,
I'm
okay,
wrong.
okay,
But
okay.
as a starting striker for us throughout the course of the
Mm.
season, I don't think he has the consistency to be able to come to be able to score for us consistently and regularly, or be a goal threat regularly for us enough for us to win the league. That's my concern. You can go now.
Is he good enough to maybe be a starting striker for? Actually, no. I would say yeah. I would say I completely disagree with you. Only because there's a lot of strikers in the league that like now, like for example, Chris Wood. He's a good striker. Um, uh, Haaland, Nunes,
Did you say
Jackson.
Chris Wood?
Yeah, Chris Wood's a good. He's a good Premier League striker. He does his job well for a Premier League striker. Good
Okay,
aerial
oh, okay,
ability.
but yeah, but not good enough to win the league. Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
No, no, of course not. No, no, he's not good enough to win the league. But I mean,
yeah.
he's a good Premier League striker. He's someone that, in terms of when I look at what I want a striker to be, someone that's physical, good positioning, great finishing, good aerial ability, different types of goals that he scores. Chris Woods is a good striker for the Premier League. Nicholas Jackson, who in my opinion has improved tremendously
Yeah, yeah, for
from
sure.
last season.
His
Quality
finishing has
striker.
got better. Yeah.
Yeah, finishing. I wouldn't say that these guys are way better than Havertz in terms of like, in terms of look. I think the old traditional way of playing. No. The old traditional way of
They're not
playing
better
where
than Havertz.
people.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah. But the old traditional way of playing where you think you need to have a world class striker, the days of the Andy Coles and Robin van Persies, and it's not one of the like nowadays. I'm seeing teams like obviously we saw Liverpool win the league with Firmino. I've seen City take the league to the final days with Gundogan in the nine. I like these days. I don't feel like you need to have a world class Haaland or, for
I
example,
agree.
someone there to win the league. So, in my
I agree.
opinion, if in my opinion, Havertz in that position doing what he does with maybe two wide forwards that are very good. I feel like he's more than capable of being a Premier League winning striker, even though I don't think he's a traditional striker. So that's why I don't want to say Premier League winning striker. I
Okay.
mean, in that
Uh,
position. And
I'll
also,
say that.
our bigger problem is if we want to win the league, we don't have to sort out the striker position. 'Cause I feel like Havertz is okay. I feel like Odegaard's okay. I feel like Saka's okay. I think we have to sort out the left hand side because for Havertz to flourish, you need to have a left winger, in my opinion, that's better and that can score more goals, a better wide forward, someone like a traditional Mane, or for example, someone that can feed off Havertz and do that job. If you want a
Yeah,
vocal
but
point,
Trossard has done that last season. Trossard did that last season.
yeah, a lot of the time off the bench, a lot of time off the bench.
No, but
I
the
feel like
last 15 games he started. The last 15 games he started for us on the left.
yeah, I know, but he's not good enough though. He's not good enough to be a
Okay,
Premier League winning left winger.
okay. Let me just say this. Yeah. So I understand what you're saying. By the way, I thought we are gonna win. You remember I said this. I said in the start of the season I think we're gonna win the league. This is with keeping in mind Havertz is gonna be our main striker. But that's
Yeah,
because
bro,
I
you came out and said you don't rate Havertz, so you need to make sure that you don't just say these statements because Havertz is a quality player, and there's no
I
way
don't
in
rate
hell,
Havertz
and there's no
enough.
way in hell he'll ever be a come off the bench, as you just said, come off the. He's not come off the bench player. He's a starting player somewhere,
No,
whether you
I
play him.
personally don't think. I personally don't think because if I look at our team right now,
Well,
right?
I think he's one of our best players. So yeah,
If we had
we're completely
I
disagreeing.
disagree. If we had
That's
someone
fine.
like Isak, for example, I know we're not gonna get him because the price is just incredible and Newcastle will not sell to us. But let's say
You're
if we
not
had
talking
someone like
about
Isak.
you're not talking about the only player. Isak's the only player that does what Isak does. By the way, that's the only guy everyone continuously talks about. Isak.
Okay,
We
fine.
don't have
If we
Isak.
had someone like
Talk
Osimhen, for
about Bruno
example,
Gomares. Talk about Bruno Gomares. No, Osimhen's dropped
can I
off.
finish? Can I finish?
Osimhen's
If we
dropped
had someone
off.
like
So don't talk about
I don't
Osimhen.
give a
Don't talk
shit.
about
I don't give
Osimhen.
a shit. That's not true. I don't give a shit. My point is, if we had someone like Osimhen, someone like Isak, someone who I think is a decent quality
Osimhen.
striker,
Oh my
I
god.
wouldn't. I don't think we would have seen. I would have been even more confident of us winning the league, right? The reason why
Go
I
get
still
Ivan
said
Tony then.
the reason why I said I don't rate Ivan Tony by the way, but I'll get to that later because that's a whole different discussion. The reason why I said I think we're going to win the league this season, despite having Havertz, is because I just looked at the overall team and I said, despite the fact that we are, in my opinion, not very strong there. I'm not going to say we're weak there. We're not weak there, but despite the fact that we're not strong there, right?
Mhm. Right.
I still think overall, over the course of the rest of the 11, the other 10, we're solid, right? And I also said at the start of the season, because Mo asked me this question before. I remember, like, um, he's like, why do you think you're going to win the league, or why do you need a striker if you don't rate Havertz? And I was like, because for me, everything Kai Havertz has done so far as a striker, or not everything, but let's say in 80% of the times Kai Havertz has played as a striker, he's done well. I'll give him that. But my main concern with Havertz is that this is just a purple patch, because there are some elements of his game that I see where I'm like, I feel like that's the real Havertz, and we're gonna go through 2 or 3 months period where he barely scores, or he maybe scores like 1 or 2. Remember when we had that? You might remember this, 2015, 2016, when we were going for the league against Leicester and Spurs, and Ozil was like, he had like 16 assists, I think, by December. And Giroud
Right.
went on like a 16-game run where he didn't score a single goal, right? And that was one of the main
Right.
reasons why we didn't win the league that season. I'm not saying it's all on
Yeah.
Giroud, but like that was a big factor because we didn't have a good striker. Our backup striker
Right.
was Welbeck, who was out injured for majority of the season.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
feel that's who Kai Havertz Kai Havertz is. I feel Kai Havertz is like that Giroud version where he'll come up with big goals here and there sometimes, but he'll also go. His true nature will come out where he will go through a couple of months where he doesn't score. And unfortunately, in this type of league we are in, because this isn't the Serie A, this isn't the Bundesliga, this is the Premier League where it's punishable. You could go through those 2 3 months and you could get punished by Liverpool and City for that. That's why I said I need someone like a proper striker who can consistently give us like that 20, 25
Yeah, but
goals
we
a
can't.
season.
But we can't go through it thinking, "Oh, I don't think he's going to continue this." That I just don't feel like that's a viable
No, but I'm
argument.
saying it. I'm saying it because I've seen. No, but I'm saying it based on things I've seen. I'm not saying it because of I have a feeling. I've seen him at
No, but
Chelsea.
you
I've seen him
can't.
at
No, but you
Germany.
can't. No, that's fine. No, that's fine, bro. But you can't. I just feel like until a player does it, like for us, you can't just say, oh, I've seen him do it for Germany, or I've seen him do it here. I just feel like as of now, since Havertz has joined, he's proved everyone wrong. Last season, in my opinion, those last 15 games, he was probably one of our best players, scoring mostly every game. Even the last game against Everton, scored the winner. Like, bro, he is a quality player. Even if he's not fit for Arsenal, even if he leaves Arsenal, I agree with you. It's fine. Even if he leaves Arsenal, because I don't feel like, look, it's never gonna be off the bench. He's not
But bro, he
that
doesn't
sort of
show
player.
up. He doesn't show up in the big games though. If you look at the top six from last season, for example, right? The only like team he showed up again. Okay, I'll
Palmer
probably give
Palmer
Chelsea,
doesn't show up against big team. Palmer doesn't show up in big
but
games.
that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. I'm not sitting here
Yeah,
saying
but you
Palmer
but
is
you
like world
but
class.
you but you still say he's one of the best players in the Premier League.
I've come up on streams arguing with people against that when people are calling him the best player in the league after the first nine
You've
games.
told no no
Remember
no but no 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 no
when he
but
had
Ashraf,
that super
let's not
hat
be no
trick?
no
One
but
sec, one
Ashraf,
sec.
let's not
No,
be
no, no. Because if
stupid.
you're saying something
You've
about me,
told
that's stupid.
me no you've told me in private he's one of the best players in the Premier League.
No, no, no. Yeah, he's probably top five, but he's not like he's not. I don't think he's the best. I don't think he's second. I don't even
Okay,
think
so
he's
he's top
third,
five.
in my
Okay, even
opinion.
if he's top five, he doesn't
On
score
form,
the
on form. Yeah, yeah, on
yeah, that's
form,
fine. But bro,
100%.
his record's horrific against Tottenham.
But if you ask
He's
me to name
terrible.
overall without form, if I look at the last 2, 3 seasons, wallahi, I don't even put. He barely makes my top 10
Oh
because I
yeah,
put Rodri ahead. Because I put
no,
Rodri
no,
ahead of him. KDB,
no,
Saliba,
Rodri, that's fine,
Van
that's
Dijk.
okay. No. But bro, the point is, look, do we need a striker? Depends on the system. If Arteta wants to play with a nine, with a proper striker, a proper Haaland type, Osimhen type, Isak type, Ivan Tony type, Chris Wood type, them highline strikers that are going to win the ball, cool. As I said, if you want, it's like look, it depends. Look, you know like Wilson from Newcastle.
Callum Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, Callum Wilson. Obviously he's been horrific now. Injuries have hit him. Obviously he's getting old. But you know when he was playing, I remember there was a time for Newcastle, Isak got dropped actually because Wilson was playing so well as a striker. Because obviously
Yeah,
Wilson's a
but
very
that's for
different.
Newcastle's level, souls. It's not
No,
for
I'm not
Arsenal level.
saying that.
If
No, no,
I,
no. I'm
by the
not
way,
saying
I didn't
Arsenal.
finish.
No,
I
no.
didn't finish my point about the top four. If you look at Arsenal last season,
Okay,
home
go
and
on, go
away
on.
against Villa, home and away
Right.
against Villa, home and away against Liverpool, home and away
Okay.
against City. He had
Mm.
stinkers in all those games, and we need someone who can show up in some of those games. Now, lucky for us, we ended up getting good results against Liverpool and City. But against Villa, we lost home and away, and he was poor in both games. He was garbage. I remember those two games. He was very poor in both games, again in the Villa Park and at the Emirates when he dropped to the 8 and then he played as a striker in the last 20 minutes or something like that. And those are the kind of games when we play against some of the big teams. Even this season, if I look at it, who are the top teams so far? Liverpool, he didn't have a good game against them. Who's top? Man City,
Who
he
el-
didn't have a
who
good
el-
game
who
against
else
them.
who else had a good game against them?
Against Liverpool, Saka had a
Mm.
very good game against them, and obviously
Who
Odegaard
else?
wasn't there. Odegaard wasn't there.
Yeah. Who
Martinelli, I would
else?
argue, Martinelli had a very good game against City in the first half. Obviously, Trossard, we know what happened. Got a red card, and the
Oh
whole
my
thing
god!
changed.
But yeah,
But
but you
Martinelli
need to
showed up against City in the first half.
no, but you need to understand, Ashraf. Yeah, please.
And
You
by the
know,
way, last thing I'll say, I'm not even asking for like, you know what? Forget the 25,
no,
20 goal
because
striker, right?
wingers,
Even if you give me
no, 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 no,
Jesus,
no, no, no.
no,
Hold
even if
on,
you
because
give me
wingers.
Jesus from 2 seasons
No,
ago, I'm
Ashraf,
happy. I'm happy.
you have to let me speak. The wingers get the ball and take players on. They're more active in the game. They have more touches of the ball. They're gonna look like they're having better games. Strikers notoriously don't get many touches. Their main goal was to when they get a chance to score it. Cool, Havertz might have missed a chance or two, but yeah, bro, you can't just say, "Oh, Martinelli had a better game." On the eye, obviously he's had a better game because obviously he's getting the ball more. He's taking players on. He's running the channels. I feel like you're being extremely harsh right now on Kai Havertz. I feel like
I'm not.
the only way I can see Havertz getting replaced if you change the system and you don't want to play with that false nine type striker. You want to play with a high line striker, and then you sign one of them. Cool. Then you can. Then in my opinion, if it's between selling Jesus or Havertz, I'd sell Havertz only
Souls,
because.
you're missing
No, no,
my
only
point. I'm not
no,
even I'm
only
not even
because
saying about change of
Havertz. I
style.
don't think Havertz can never ever be an off the bench player. He's a quality player. He can
But he
lead
has come off the
Arsenal.
bench couple of games last
That's
season and
that's
scored.
fine. That's fine. But I
So how
mean,
did he
for a
do
whole
that?
season, no, because no, he can do that. But I mean, he's not an off the bench player for a whole season. He's just not. He's a
So if you're
starting.
you're telling me
He's
if
a,
we get wait. So by that logic, why do you want us to get a striker then?
I said no because I'm not Arteta. If Arteta thinks that we need a change of a system, look, as I said, if you go and sign Osman, for
Solz, I'm
example,
asking you, forget Arteta. Do you want us to sign a striker or not? Simple.
in the current system that we're playing, no.
But you answered yes 10 minutes ago. So I don't understand. Like, why did you say yes 10 minutes ago then when I asked you the question?
No, because only because like because obviously I can
You
see a different
stopped.
way of playing. Because I can see a different way of playing. This is what I'm saying. Like I'm not trying to challenge you here. I'm just trying to say to you, if we change the way of playing, then it makes sense.
But what do you mean change the way of playing? Change the way of playing to what exactly?
No,
The
like I
same
mean,
way
like
of let me say this: the same way of playing right now that we're playing this season. If we had Jesus from 2 seasons ago, that Jesus, we probably play even better, right? Because that Jesus gives us the link up play. Yeah, he doesn't win the aerial threats. Fair enough. We lose that. But everything else, he was doing a lot better. He gets down, he gets the ball, he links up play, he gets into the box, he scores goals. He's got goals. If you remember that season, he scored again. He got us the penalty. He had an amazing performance against Liverpool, home and away. He had a good performance against Man City. At the not at the Emirates, actually, forget Man City. Had a very good performance against United, home and away. Had a very good performance against Liverpool, obviously, as I mentioned, against Spurs as well that season. If we get Jesus from 2 seasons ago, right? I'm not even asking, like, he's not even the guy who gets you 20, 25 goals. But in this same system, Jesus enhances our football a lot better. I'm not saying, I'm not asking something crazy from Havertz. I'm just saying there are certain games where he performs really well, like the Leicester game, the Chelsea game from last season when we smashed them 5-0. Some of these games, yes, he performs well. My issue with him is that he doesn't do it consistently. The Jesus from 2 seasons ago, even the games when he doesn't score or assist, he's a massive, massive threat. That there was a game you might remember better, Leicester or Bournemouth. I think it was Bournemouth, where Ramsdale played a long ball forward. Right, Jesus controls the ball, dribbles past 2-3 guys, gets fouled. The ball comes to, I remember, Odegaard or someone, and they score. Now he doesn't get the goal, he doesn't get the assist. Nothing gets registered for him as a stat. But he's the one who set up that goal. So even when Jesus 2 seasons ago wasn't scoring or assisting in some games, he was ripping teams apart. That's all I'm asking from Havertz. I'm not even saying go bang like 10, 20, 30 goals. It's fine. But at least the games where you don't score or assist, you need to be a nuisance. That's what Odegaard does. Odegaard sometimes doesn't get credit because he doesn't get a GA, he doesn't get a goal or assist registered. But anyone who watched that game will see that this guy gets the ball and creates trouble. Whether he gives a through ball, assist before the assist, or whatever the hell they call it. He does all these kind of things that lead to us scoring.
Yeah. Look, I extremely rate Havertz. I think he's a top quality player. I think
Yeah,
he
but you don't rate him
basically.
enough to the point where you want a striker, though. Let's be honest, Souls. You and I both know if Gyökeres, and by the way, I don't even watch the Portuguese league. I'm not going to pretend like I'm one of those guys who watches Sporting Lisbon and I know exactly what Gyökeres does. YouTube highlights will not tell me enough. But I guarantee you, if
No,
Gyökeres
no,
was
no, no,
available
no,
right
no, no.
now,
Not only YouTube highlights. Obviously,
both of us.
I've watched him in the Champions League. I think he's a quality player.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. If Gyökeres is available, both of us would probably want him to come to the club. And we know that means Kai Havertz gets dropped because he doesn't come back to the eight, right?
We
He's
don't
going to
know
be
if
on the
Kai
bench.
Havertz gets no. Well, we don't know if Kai Havertz gets dropped. We don't know if he comes and he plays well, if he fits in our system, if he does what he's meant to be doing, if
No,
like I
no.
said, bro,
Okay,
it's
okay,
not,
fair. Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
but it's not for me.
That's
It's
actually a
not
very good
that
argument.
simple.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct. That's actually a
yeah,
very good argument because we've seen other players like come with a lot of hype and then fail. But let's
yeah.
assume that Gyökeres comes in with that hype and actually delivers. Let's say he's like Haaland, like in the sense that Haaland
Oh,
came with
okay,
hype and he
then
delivered.
no. Then obviously, if he comes in and does that and acts like Haaland and plays like Haaland and does what Haaland does, then he'll be a much better
No,
striker
no, not
than
Haaland,
Havertz.
not Haaland. No, no, no. You missed not when I said comes like
Okay,
Haaland in the
like
sense
Haaland
that
then.
no, no, no. What I meant by Haaland is that you know how Haaland came with hype, that people who had questions about is he actually going to live up to that hype or not, right? And he lived up to it. That's what I mean. I don't mean like he has to score like Haaland. I mean if Gyökeres comes to the Premier League, whichever club he joins, whether it's Arsenal, United, Liverpool, whatever club he joins, he's coming in with hype, right? And people are going to think, is he going to be able to perform to that hype, or is he going to be like Darwin Núñez, who came in with hype and flopped, right? That's my point. If let's say Gyökeres comes in with that hype to Arsenal and lives up to that hype, to the Gyökeres hype of Sporting Lisbon, obviously all of us would want Havertz drop then. And the reason I'm bringing up this point right now is because I think we both rate Odegaard, right? We also both rate Saka, 100%, right? if you tell me right now there is let me pick someone. Musiala, for example. Musiala is a baller this season. His stats are crazy. He's been banging it in the Champions League, in the Bundesliga. Obviously, he does it internationally as well. We all know who Musiala is right now, right? Even if there is facts to prove Musiala is better than Odegaard, I don't want Odegaard dropped. I don't want Musiala to come and bench Odegaard. I don't want that because I like what Odegaard gives us in our system. I had to use your words, and I like what Saka gives us in our system. So even if you tell me there is Mo Salah, who I think is better than Saka, I've had a debate with you as well. But if you tell me right now, I take peak Mo Salah, right? Not peak Mo Salah. I'll definitely take peak Mo Salah. If you tell me I take Mo Salah right now over Saka in the system, I'd okay, maybe I would take Salah, but forget Salah. Let's pick Odegaard. Odegaard is a better example because many people will argue Musiala might be better than him this season. Rafinha, factually, he's been better than Odegaard this season. Just if you look at what he's doing in that 10 role, right? But I wouldn't take Rafinha on our team over Odegaard because I know what Odegaard gives me. With Kai Havertz, as much as you're rating him and saying he's been good, I like him, this and that, but you would drop him in a heartbeat if we can get Isak or Gyökeres or let's say Lewandowski in this form that he's in, for example. Like we would all drop Havertz. That's the reality of it, and the reason we do that is because he's not at that level. I'm sorry, bro, he's not at that level. Havertz right now, in my opinion, I cannot make an argument for him to start in any of the top clubs. But I can definitely make arguments for Odegaard. I can make arguments for Saka. I can make arguments for Saliba, for Rice. Based on this season's form, even Partey, I can make arguments for Timber if he gets a good run. I cannot make that argument for Havertz. And that's where I'm trying to say we need to upgrade in that position. That's all. Souls, you're a mute.
No, I understand. I understand that. I think I understand what you're saying. But what? So would you say then? So what strikers would you say where it's realistic for us to sign?
I honestly, because he's in Galatasaray, I would consider Osimhen. I don't know how his form would have dipped there. I have a friend, like a good friend of mine, who is a Galatasaray fan and watches him, and he said he's been killing it. But then we have seen players kill it in Galatasaray, so I'm not 100% sure. That would be a risk right now. I definitely would want Isak. The good thing is Isak hasn't signed an extension. He's refused the extension so far, so there is a chance that he's looking to exit. And if he is looking to exit, there is no way Newcastle are going to sell him for the alleged price of 120 because they're going to lose value on him as the years go by, this season goes by. For me personally, if Isak is available, that's my number one option. If Isak is not available, again, I don't watch Gyökeres, but if what people are saying about him is true, then I would want Gyökeres as a second option. And the last option I would probably pick is, okay, I'm going to drop a name actually. You're going to laugh when I say this name. But I've watched this guy since last season, and every single time I've probably watched like 15 games of his so far from last season up until this season. And every single game I've watched of his, he's impressed me so much. He does so many great things on the ball and he scores goals. Joao Pedro. Joao Pedro for me, bro, since last season, every game I've watched him play, even when he doesn't score or assist, which he does really well, by the way, he finishes well, he takes penalties. But he also links up well. He dribbles decent. He comes back. He plays the 1-2. He assists really well. I don't know like why people are sleeping on this guy. And I'm gonna go check right now because I don't even think he's that old. I feel he's still quite young. So Joao Pedro, what's his age?
And Joao Pedro is good, man.
He's 23. He's 23, bro. He's not even like that old or anything. He's 23 years old. Brighton have Welbeck and Evan Ferguson and Joao Pedro. If you go in and put in like a 70, 80 million bid, I don't think they say no. And I know people will be like 70, 80 million is insane. But unfortunately, that's how the market is right now. You have to put in that kind of money to be getting some of these strikers. And I think he's the kind of guy who could get us like 20, 25 goals while also linking up, while also dropping deep, while also giving us
look,
everything.
I think obviously, just to respond to everything, because obviously there's a lot that you said. Look, I think
I'll let you land, and then we have to end the stream. So yeah, you can end your points.
We have to end the stream.
Yeah. I'm running late to another meeting.
You're running late on what?
I'm running late to another meeting, so we kind of went a bit over. But anyways, land your point.
On another meeting.
Yeah, just land your point, souls.
Yeah. So look. I think ultimately, I think Havertz quality player. If you want to change the system, change the system. Are there strikers out there that could probably score more goals? Yes, but it means we have to change the system. Maybe bringing in a striker that scores more goals will hinder the wide players and how much goals they score. I feel like if Liverpool had Haaland in the seasons where Salah and Mane were scoring 20 plus goals, they wouldn't have scored 20 plus goals because the system then changes. The balls have to go through the striker scores more goals. So again, there's a lot of factors to it, I think. It's not as simple as just, oh, Havertz, I don't rate Havertz. That's why when you said I don't rate Havertz, I'm like, cool. I rate Havertz for a system that plays the way Havertz plays. I think Havertz is a quality player, fits into most big clubs. How you want to play him is very different. He's very versatile, can play in different positions, holds the ball up well, very strong, very athletic, good finishing. Again, Champions League winner. I feel like he's never ever going to be a backup. So if we do sign a striker, which again it's up to Arteta, then you'd have to sell Havertz only because Havertz is not going to be a backup player. He won't just sit on the bench wait for his opportunity to come on uh, every single game for the last 15 minutes. It doesn't make any sense to me. He's a quality player,
That's
still
fine.
young,
We move
still
him on then.
yeah, yeah, then move him on. Jesus, I think, is okay being a backup squad player. That's fine. You can keep him. Does a decent job when he comes off the bench. Can link up the wall well. But ultimately, I don't think we should sell Havertz. I think he's a quality player. I think as of now, a striker's not our pressing issue. I feel like we need to sort out our left side because I feel like both of those players on the left side, in my opinion, aren't good enough to be Premier League winning wingers. Especially when you have a player like Havertz who's not gonna do what he needs to do in terms of a front line. And yeah, but look, overall,
What if we get the Martinelli from 2 seasons ago? Do you think he's good enough then? 15 goals, 6
yeah,
assists.
but again, you have to get that Martinelli. That's the problem. I
Yeah,
think getting
but
that
at least we've
Martinelli is where the
seen we've
issue is.
seen that Martinelli. We still haven't seen
And
that
even that
Havertz. But anyways,
Martinelli,
I hear you.
even that Martinelli for me, he's just not versatile enough in the way he plays, man. He just doesn't have the silkiness and the dribbling. He's too one dimensional. He's head down, always running forward in a forward line. He seems very rash in his dribbling, very rash in
Nah,
his decision
two
making.
seasons ago he had that. He was dribbling past people a lot, bro. He was like cooking different fullbacks. Every fullback was struggling against him. And the best part about him, 2 seasons ago, I'm only talking about 2 seasons ago. Last season he wasn't that, but 2 seasons ago he was cutting in on the inside and the outside, which was like making him very difficult to predict as well. And he was finishing, bro. He was one of our best finishers 2 seasons ago. So if we get that Martinelli back, I generally think he becomes one of the best left wingers in the league. But unfortunately,
No,
he
no, he
might not
was,
be
and at
back.
one
So
point at one point he was. So, look, I think let's wait and see what happened. Just to summarize, obviously,
yeah.
great win. Let's keep up the momentum. Look, ultimately now, I don't think we are going to win the league. I think all we can do now is take it one game at a time. I don't even want to think about the league. I just want to take it one game at a time. See what happens and then watch the other scores around us. That's the depressing thing now. We just have to look at what's around us and see what where we can
Especially
capitalize. Because at the
Liverpool.
moment, all we can do now is take it game by game by game. Obviously, we have West Ham away next. Should be a very winnable game, and then we have
United at
obviously we
Emirates.
have United at the Emirates, which again, even though we should win that, it'll be a tough game, especially if United have that new manager bounce and obviously are playing a different way and obviously they're all trying to prove something to their manager. It could be a tough game, but as I said, take it one game at a time and see what happens.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. See it one game at a time. And look, our next 10 to 12 games are very winnable until that City game at the Emirates, which we
No, no,
should win
no.
as well.
I feel like no game is very winnable. I feel like it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, but I
it
mean,
depends on
look,
how you
obviously
play.
you could lose at home to Ipswich. I understand that, but I'm saying on
No, but
paper, when
you could also lose to United.
no, no. Look. Even when United were at their peak, when they come to the Emirates, like they struggle. So I don't see why suddenly that should change now. And I've seen them have an incredible new manager bounce with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in his first season when they won like 8, 9 games in a row, but then they lost to the Emirates anyway. So I agree, like that some games could be tricky. I thought Forest could be a tricky game for us. Clearly, it wasn't. So, and now the fact that we have all our players, I'll just say this: yeah, if we have all our players back, which seems like it's the case, except for Ben White, obviously. I think honestly, I cannot see any team beating us in this run, right?
Ben
Don't
White is a big miss. Ben White is a big miss.
yeah,
I
but for
think
me, when our full team is available, I don't start him. Like I start Timber
no,
and Calafiori over him
I
anyway.
think
So
I do, but that's a conversation for a different video. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But anyways, we yeah we can
yeah,
discuss that. But
I rate
look,
Ben White highly.
We've struggled with injuries. We need to stay injury free. Um, we need to stay injury free. That's going to be our biggest struggle. I think we need to keep Calafiori
100%.
fit. We need to keep Timber fit.
100%.
We need to keep Partey fit as well. I think he's a quality midfielder, and
Yeah.
yeah. But obviously, thanks Ashraf for the invite on the stream.
Thanks so much, Souls. Appreciate it. We'll obviously do more. Hopefully, I don't think I'll be able to do one like midweek, but we'll do one before the game, before the next
Yeah, I
game
was
week.
gonna suggest. I was gonna
Um,
suggest you should do one midweek.
Nah, no, no. Midweek is a bit difficult. I'll try to do one maybe like. Let me see. Let me see. I'll try to do one tomorrow, but obviously no promises, guys. But I'll definitely do one before the next game week. Against before the game against West Ham. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're done for today. Look forward to next videos. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share the video. And catch you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.